It's a beautiful day today. The sun's popping up. We're going to get down into the teens again and single digits again for a couple days this week. So, buckle down the hatches and make sure the water is full and all that so we don't freeze up again. We haven't froze up this year, so we're doing well. So today, once again, I got to put water in the tank. Like I said, put it in there every other day. The wintertime, it's a little bit more complicated because I got to get the hose out. And it doesn't help when I drop the styrofoam that I was going to use to prop up the lid. But I put the hose in here. It keeps it from freezing up. It's worked out really well. I know when I put the tank in last year and the plumbing froze up, so many people came up with all kinds of design ideas, and some of them just were so overcomplicated. It's obvious that people are thinking and they're using their head to try to figure out how to take a situation and make it better. But sometimes I wonder, are people making it overcomplicated? We talk a lot about analysis paralysis, where they continually think about something so long and they never get it done because they just can't figure out the solution, or it costs too much. Some of the things that I've been told to do on this property would make living on this property absolutely financially impossible. You just couldn't do it with some of the things that were suggested. I mean, one of the things was obviously I had to have a tractor. Not use a tractor. I mean, I can't think of anything that I would need a tractor for. A little lawnmower I got, and I even sometimes think, man, should I really gotten that? I mean, it's made life a lot easier, but I don't know if I really needed it. And now that I think I got most of my firewood taken care of for the rest of my life, I don't even know if I need it anymore, because that was the biggest thing, was dragging that firewood up from the woods in that little hand cart wagon. That was tough. That being said, then sometimes I think maybe I try to oversimplify things, and that may not be the best thing to do either. I get some of the strangest things that I just can't understand. I was a consultant. I own my own company. I was a consultant for companies, and what I tried to do is help companies improve their processes to lots of different things. It's hard to explain, but improve processes is one of the things that I had to do. And you would see these hugely complex lines. You go into manufacturing, you're just overly complicated with lots of failure points, lots of things that could break. And you'll go in and you just kind of look at it from a simplistic, naive mind, and you say, well, why couldn't you just some simple step? And it's like, oh my goodness, yeah, we've been working on this problem for 20 years. And I don't know if I have a unique ability. I don't want to say I'm unique or special or anything, but sometimes I just think, man, people just deliberately make things overcomplicated. So I'm going to hook this hose up. One of the things that people tell me a lot is, why don't I make this into an official plumbing project? And this is just not that hard to me. And I think part of the lifestyle here, living off grid, is getting out and doing things. I think one of the problems with the country is we've gotten spoiled and lazy. And yes, I could make hooking up the water a lot easier where it's always hooked up, but why? This forces me to come out at least every other day and do something, at least walk up and down the hill. And my health has been a lot better as a result of just forcing myself not to get too lazy. I could do a lot of things. I could put in propane heat. I could hook up an electric grid. Told you a while back, I'm still waiting on a check valve so the water doesn't siphon back into the well if the generator shuts off by accident. One of the subscribers, Eric, sent me an email saying they make a check valve for a hose. Well, I ordered it and it's taken forever for it to get here. I don't know why it's taking so long. I guess because everybody's gotten sick. I don't know. It's supposed to be here, I think, tomorrow. So cross my fingers, we'll get that soon. That way, if the generator dies, then I don't get dirty water coming back up from the filters over there. One of the things I do to keep the well from freezing up is I drilled a little hole 30 feet down in the pipe so the water would drain back down, so the pipe is empty. And that was just a simple little solution that a subscriber told me, because I couldn't figure out I didn't have an idea on how to make that work. That was before we moved here, and I explained the situation in a video. And it was simple. Keep it simple. They call it KISS, keep it simple. I'll say silly, it's not the word they use. So we're trying to keep it simple. Just a simplistic lifestyle, simplistic fixes. Not everything has to be overcomplicated. You know, a little tiny house. Simple. So simple that I was able to build it on my own. I don't understand why we gotta have all this complexity. And then eventually, all this complexity becomes too much. Nobody can get it done. So then you have to hire experts. My aunt and her husband are probably the smartest people I know. Just genius. He's a chemist. He's got several patents and owns several scientific discoveries. Guy's a genius. But you ask him to do anything in his house and he's just completely lost. So I think people just overcomplicate things. Let's see if my bucket of water is frozen here. It probably is. Yeah, that's a bummer. Can I break it enough? What it is my piece gets a little dirty here and I like to try to wipe it off before I put it next to the tank, but I got it enough. It's clean enough. See, there again, something simple. I didn't have to have a big elaborate system in place. Just a little bit of water. Now, if that didn't work, all I'd do is turn the well on, hold the hose up like this, it washes right off. Just keeping everything so simple. But this tank is one of the things that folks have really tried to overcomplicate. Even after I tell them how well this thing works. It works better than my house that I had, well, 12 years ago. We sold it 12 years ago. The house would freeze up every year. I had to get underneath the house with a blowtorch and hair dryers and try to thaw everything out. I put heat tape all over for underneath the house. Nothing seemed to work. So I come here and make a box and I drill a hole in the house, through the house. Oh, you can see it today, yeah. And I run ventilation, so I blow heat in there, so the hose, the plumbing that goes into the house is inside that ventilation. It stays very warm, nothing's freezing. It's working out perfectly. The box is insulated. People still yet today tell me that I have to do to make this work, and it's working fine. Such a simple design. The only thing I really wanted to do though with the box was I wanted to put it on the tongue here of the house. And I'm so glad I didn't. Carolyn talked me out of that. She was worried about the weight of it. We'd have to build bracing and all that. Well, I'm glad I didn't, because then I'd also gotten cold air from coming underneath. I'm glad I didn't do that, because now you get that heat from the ground, because the ground does produce heat. So glad I didn't do that. But that's just talking things through, working things out. So now, oh, I should have started the generator before I got started, because it needs to warm up. If I don't warm the generator up, it won't run the well. Got distracted making this video. So the other day, I was saying that we're running out of walnut and sycamore. The only thing we have left is oak that's dry enough that we can use in the house. I got hickory, but that's even worse. And oak is a more dense wood, puts out more BTUs. It's very hot when we run it. So when I was running the walnut, it's been warmer temperatures around here. We just now this month got below freezing. I don't think we've been below freezing all winter and in the fall, which is it's very warm. And so I've been using walnut to heat the house because it doesn't get as hot, and the sycamore. Of course, we're out of sycamore. Pretty much all we have now is oak. And oak is just, even a little bit, gets it really hot in the house. So I've been splitting the logs even smaller into just thin little pieces. I don't know, maybe 3 inches, maybe 2 inches in diameter. Just tiny. And that's been working out pretty good. We finally got that resolved. When I said that I got it really hot in the house one night, I put too much oak in it. It just burned us out. So I got several suggestions. So I'm going to give you an example. So this is walnut here. That's walnut. This is oak. So you can see the color difference. Walnut doesn't burn as hot as oak. It's just much cooler to burn. So we're not going to have any of this left in the spring, because January's been pretty warm. When we get into March and April, I got to figure out how to burn oak without getting so dang hot. So I've been experimenting by putting less wood in the stove, and it's been working out fine. I mean, just a little bit. Just heats it up nice and warm. Of course, then people say, well, why don't you open up your attic, your loft? Let the temperature flow through the house, so that cold air up there in the attic flow down into the house. Well, I just replied back, that's a waste of firewood. And I don't want to waste firewood. It's a lot of work to cut firewood. And then I got another suggestion. And I thought, well, why am I opening the attic? The night that I got so hot, I just opened the window, this window right here, just for a few minutes. I don't know, 5 minutes. Opened it all the way up. The house was 99 degrees, that's how hot it got. And I was able to bring it down to 90 degrees. And Carolyn and I was able to fall right to sleep. It was fine. But then somebody said something, this is when I decided to make this video, that I need to build an outdoor heat exchanger. So when it's too hot in the house, I can run it off a thermostat and regulate it. And when it gets too hot, it kicks on and all that hot air in the house comes outside through this heat exchanger. One, I don't want to waste the firewood, but let's get past that just for a minute. Why not just open a window? I don't understand why this has to be so complicated. Last year, when we could not let the fire die down because we only had wet wood, we left the windows open most of the year. We were fine. So I think people just overcomplicate things way too much to the point where they stall. They just can't move any further. So I'm going to put a box right here at the end of this, right next to my face. It's the end screen. Click it, it'll take you to my other channel. I really appreciate it. Check out those videos. Hopefully you'll get a laugh out of them and you'll subscribe. So I hope I can inspire you to keep it simple, silly, so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.